There was one editor in particular that I would work with a lot because his edits were really good. You are the person that I send like hours of foot.
Wait!
He couldn't stop touching himself, but his edits were fucking heat.
Bike!
I can't believe that things would end up this way, taking a turn for the absolute worst possible case scenario, and that my favorite employer, Queeb Pokimane, would expose me to her entire audience and to the world like this. I was such a good editor to her. I came so many times with different ideas and innovative ways of editing my Queeb Poki. I barely even asked for a salary, given that going through hundreds, thousands of hours of Pokimane's footage was enough of a salary for me. But no! My great editing for the lowest of lows wasn't enough! My epic Poketop funny stream moments among us, imposter montages and epic Fortnite victory royales weren't enough to satisfy her! No! She had to go and use me to go viral and air out our little secret! I was such a good boy. I even expressed my true feelings for her and now I couldn't contain myself. I was buzzing at the seams uncontrollably every time that I opened Adobe Premiere to edit her videos and instantly saw her on my timeline. There was just so much that I could barely keep my hands off my meat. I'm sorry, Queeb Pokey. Please, allow me back as one of your editors. Please, I'll do it for free. I feel like the bit has gone for far too long. Well, I'm not sure, but you get the point. Number one, Pokey's editor was actually a simp who couldn't get his hands off of his pants while editing her videos. Someone that's on your payroll, a Discord mod, infiltrated into the higher echelons of Pokimane's editing team and couldn't stop gooning while editing footage for her. This is a true horror story if I've ever heard one. First, you don't mix work with pleasure in the carnal temptations of the flesh. And second, you don't trauma dump to your boss. That the reason why you keep missing deadlines is because you can't stop gooning to her. I hate to be glazing Pokey here, but that trauma dump must have left some scars. Now all that she can think about is how many other people on her payroll work with only one hand. Anyway, I'll stop edging you guys with all of this yapping and not showing the footage that I've so carefully collected. So here's their side of the story.
Many years ago, when I was like super omega active on YouTube and I was working with a lot of different editors. There was one editor in particular that I would work with a lot because his edits were really good.
Yep, that's me. You're probably thinking about how I got in this situation. All jokes aside, it wasn't me. If you want an editor though, I'm available. I promise that I'll work with both of my hands and the keyboard at all times. Listen, Pokey, I know that you're like scared from all of these gooner editors and afraid that they might do a sniper wolf special on you. So if you hire me, listen, I'm on the other side of the globe. We've got an entire ocean separating us, so you don't have to worry about me knocking at your door one day.
But he had one major problem, which was that sometimes out of nowhere his videos would just be like a week or two late. But his edits were fucking heat.
Hey, thanks for the promo. I do anything for my queeb. Please step on me.
I would ask him, like, is there anything that I can help with? Anything that I can do to kind of like make it easier to be on time? And like, you're welcome to tell me if you're going to be a bit slower with the upload so that maybe we can work around it.
Yes, there are a lot of things you can do. Send me more footage of you. Please, I need it for research purposes. And like, imagine, even if this guy isn't working for Pokimane anymore, he still has the footage, so God only knows what he's doing with it right now, given how proficient this secret gooner editor of hers is.
He messages me out of the blue and he says, hey, do you have time to talk?
There has not been one single time in human history where we need to talk has ended well. No good endings have ever come from that sentence. I'd go even further and add that every time I myself have heard that game ending, oh so dreaded phrase, my body instantly would go into shock and I'd start panicking. Seriously, if you are a fellow human and whenever you hear "we need to talk," all the red flags don't start going off in your brain, then I'm sorry to tell you, but you might very well be a lizard man. A robot? Maybe an alien? If I was spooky and I've heard that, I wouldn't even want to know. Bam! Fired! Instantly, don't care, didn't ask, straight to the gulag. On site. It'll be on site. And if no one has ever said that to you, don't bother. Avoid it like the plague. It's a box that you don't want to open. Trust me, bro.
I'm ready to finally tell you why I've been struggling so much with deadlines. Tell me why he proceeds to tell me that the reason why he would sometimes turn around videos a week or two late is because he couldn't stop touching himself.
And here is the great reveal, the crescendo of the clip, the piece of the resistance. Pardon my French. Turns out that Pokimane was employing a massive gooner. I mean, there were signs, one of them being that the footage was always late. What even goes on inside of a person's head thinking that this is something that they should say to anyone, let alone to their employer? Was he thinking that Pokimane would be flattered and send him some more fresh cooking material? Brother, that's restraining order worthy. It's creepy. If someone pays you to work, you don't slack off, let alone start using it in your spank bang. Lay off of the flesh cigar, take your normal pills and work like a normal member of society. Well, at least he made banger edits. But if that's not enough to get someone fired, then I don't know what is. Dude should never be allowed within a 10-kilometer radius of another woman. We never know what he might go on to do. What's scarier is that this guy was our editor for months. For many months he went on to collect sweet spank bank material and went unnoticed. Hell, he'd still go unnoticed. And he kept his mouth shut, which he was apparently not able to do. It was just too much to handle, having to constantly goon because he couldn't not touch himself while editing. Pokimane and her footage was just too irresistible. How much of a coomer must you be in order to not be able to lay off of the flesh cigar? Let that sink in! Let's take me for an example. I spend on average 8 hours every day scripting, editing, getting footage to make my videos. Now imagine that this guy does the exact same thing. 8 hours every single day, non-stop, uninterrupted, unadulterated, constantly shooting rope. I mean, at this point, brother must be shooting clouds of dust. All that you can hear, that shit gotta be all red and mangled with all of that right hand action.
When I tell you I've never halted a conversation so fast, because I'm like, you're the person that I send like hours of foot. I don't want to know what you're jacking it to. I don't want to know more. I shouldn't even know how much I know right now.
True, when you're in a job interview, the boss doesn't ask, so what are your fapping interests? Do you like spanking it to hentai, MILFs, stepsisters, or what? You also don't skip the entire chain of command, from managers to HR, and go straight for the final boss. Sorry boss, in reality, the entire reason why I applied for this job was to have endless footage of you so I could increase my homework folder. Pokimane should definitely not know about her employer's preferences. The relationship is 100% transactional, but the editor must think otherwise. On the other hand, it's actually kinda good that Pokimane knows about this and how twisted one of our ex-employees was, because no one knows what would happen if this work relationship went on for much longer. One day, Pokimane just decides to leave the house and oh, there it is! The editor! Roses in one hand, chocolate on the other, still smelling like sweat from all of the previous profuse editing work. If for nothing else, this degen isn't working under her anymore and trauma dumping straight to the boss. Now the question arises of, who else in her team has got the same tendencies? Do the mods also work one-handed? Other editors, perhaps? She mentioned revealing a story from one of the Twitch TV staff members in an upcoming podcast episode, and we all know how degenerate Twitch TV staff is, but like, they give women and other girls preferential treatment. They can practically spread their ass cheeks on camera and won't get a ban longer than 2 days. Just go to Twitch TV, right? It's practically a softcore cam girl website. So Poki profited massively from Twitch TV's degenerate staff and their enforcing of the rules, and I will also profit of that story because it will most likely go as viral as the one we are talking about right now, if not more.
So when he's like, you know, like this is like an addiction of mine, I genuinely felt really, really bad. So I still paid him for months.
Hey, I need a job like this. Where can I apply? I promise that I won't trauma dump. I promise. Brother, just cut him out. What's next? He starts having suicidal thoughts and tendencies out of the blue just to manipulate her? Guys, I don't really like Pokimane in her fake personality. I could barely go through her stream to get his footage. I had to go through most of it on mute, and this is the case of this shit slaps when it's on mute. I don't like the fake and forced personality and the squeaky tone of her voice. That's just me. I can do anything about it. But when something like this, so vile and unthinkable happens, I can't help but to side with her. Come on, what am I supposed to do? Do a neat piece on someone who's being manipulated by her editor? This was just something really bad that happened to her. So for now, I'll get my guard down, join her massive army of simps, because that's what most of her watchers are. Simps! Anyway, I'll join them this one time and defend Queeb Pokey at all costs, because I wouldn't want a lunatic, degenerate psycho trying to emotionally manipulate my friends into doing stuff that they wouldn't want and eventually regret.